Hello, FlossTube. Welcome back to the Science Nitster channel. I'm Science Nitster. This is Miss Fortuna. She usually doesn't like to be on camera. I'm Deb or Deborah, Science Nitster on Instagram and Ravelry. And it's been quite a while, several months, since I filmed a FlossTube. I kind of, not so much lost my stitchy bug as work was busy, and I was for a lot of March and most of April. I didn't really stitch during the week. When I did stitch, it was mainly on the weekends, and I just didn't feel up to making a floss tube. I wanted to spend my crafty time crafting. So I've been thinking about what I wanted to do in this video, and I saw that a lot of folks are doing mid-year whip parades, which I do want to do, but that's not what this video is. And then I was thinking about, well, if I showed everything I've worked on since my last video, it would pretty much be a mid-year whip parade. So I'm just focusing on some finishes and starts, because I've mainly been starting all the things that I have done since my last video, and probably not even all the starts that I've made since my last video, but definitely all the finishes. And Fortuna wants to sit on my stitching. Try and get her to sit over here. And so I'll start off with my finishes. So I'm pretty sure the last time I showed this one, and I really should have got something to put behind these, and I forgot. The last time I showed this one, I wasn't quite finished with it. This is the freebie, or was the freebie from Primrose Cottage. And it, I think like a month or two after, or by the end of the month, when they go to the next freebie, the previous month's freebie goes on sale in their shop. But if you have that one, this may not look anything like it because I changed all the colors to kind of match my own Valentine's decor. So I stitched this on 1/2 on 36 count London Fog, which is a Roxy Flossco linen, and I used Roxy Flossco floss. I think all of these were from, except for the black, which is just DMC 310. And I think the white, I forget which white I chose, except for the black and the white. They're all from the holiday countdown that they do, that Roxy Flossco does with Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery and Evertote. And so I just chose my colors from that kind of matched the palette of my other Valentine's things. And then I really don't have much of anything for St. Patrick's Day, and I do want to have more. I am part Irish, and so I started this. Another freebie from Primrose Cottage, and finished this in March, their St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Again, this was it was the March freebie, but is now available for sale in their online store. And apparently if they haven't already, they are soon opening an actual storefront, which should be exciting, except that Utah's too far away from me. Anyway, so this one I also stitched on Roxy Flossco linen. This is Cove. Both London Fog and Cove were traditional linen club, recent traditional linen club shipments, but I believe they are available in the Evertote online shop. And again, except for the black, which is DMC 310, I chose colors from the holiday countdown, and I chose the green because I had this green fabric that I wanted to use. Both of these are going to be made into pillows. And then another small that I've managed to finish that I actually started and finished during, let's see, somewhere here, unless Miss Fortuna is sitting on it. My pad. Well, I'm not going to find it now. We're not going to worry about it. This is Cranberry Basket by Abby Topknot. And it was in the little cookbook that they publish each year for the Nashville market. And so it was in this year's. So this was, so I can't show you a picture what it's supposed to look like. And actually, I could have shown you pictures of what the other two were supposed to look like if you followed the chart exactly, except that it's over there, and I don't want to get up. Anyway, so this was just the chart. And I stitched this on probably, it looks like 36 count vintage country mocha with a, it's with a Vicki Clayton hand-dyed silk, and I don't remember which one it was. It's not going to come to me, and I'm not going to take the time to look it up. I could look it up in my X-Stitch app, but I'm not going to. So those were my small finishes. The one that I am most proud of is this one. This is from the 2025 Salentines that was designed by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. The flosses and linen are from Carrie of Roxy Floss Co. And I used the called for, and so I bought the kit, and yeah, from Evertote. So I am really happy with how this turned out, and so this is on 40 count. I think, remember correctly, the color of the linen is called arrowroot, and the flosses, there were 3 flosses that came in the kit. The red is called Crimson, and I forget the name of the other 2, but beautiful. I was just going to get the chart this year, but then when I saw the colors, it's like, oh. Okay. And then the last finish I have to show is just finished last night or late yesterday afternoon, early evening. Well, it has 2 names. If you found it in the 2024 Spring Just Cross Stitch magazine, which is where I got it, it's called All Things Spring. And if you saw Erin Elizabeth Designs, so Erin Elizabeth released this as a separate chart this spring, I believe, sometime this year. And she called it Hello Spring again to go along with her Hello Autumn, which I've already stitched, Hello Summer, which I started last summer but haven't finished. So that's going to be a finish, I hope, in the next month. And her Hello Winter that was recently released and I already have on PDF. So I should say, I stitched this on a London Fog, 36 count London Fog, 1/2. So all of these were 1/2. So 36 and up, 36 count and up, I always stitch 1/2 or almost always. And then 32, 28, I stitch 2/2 usually. Occasionally 28, I might stitch 3/2, but unusual. Okay, so this is London Fog, 36 count London Fog by Roxy Floss Co. I made 2 substitutions on the called for DMC because I didn't have the called for DMC and I didn't want to wait to go to the store to get them. So I subbed the dark gray for overdyed. I think it was Banker's Gray by Gentle Arts. And then I think it was the purple. I subbed like the next closest color based on the DMC color chart. So the lavender purple is a slightly different shade than the called for, but close enough. And I'm pretty happy with that one. I haven't decided how I'm going to finish the Hello series. I want to finish them all the same. I kind of like how Helen D has her Hello Summer in a like a stand-up thing that looks like a, like almost not an easel, but it's got a place you can, like if you laced something, you could stick it in there. So maybe something like that. Or the other thing I was thinking of is I might just do an easel back, and have them all, excuse me, I have a mantle. I could sit them all and go with my other seasonal stuff. Okay, so those are my ones that I've completely finished the stitching. Actually, I'm gonna set them over here so Miss Fortuna doesn't lay on them if she comes back up on the bed. Then I have a couple of things that are I call partial finishes. So this one is the Heart and Hand Easter bird. And this is what mine looks like. I changed out some of the colors to be a little bit brighter. I wanted the blue to be brighter, so I chose, let's see, the blue. Now I don't remember. Do I have it written down? I might have it written down. Let's see. The blue, yeah, I actually made quite a few changes on this one. So if you're interested, message me and I will, or put a comment and I will send you my exact changes. But I changed out some of them just based on, I wanted it to be a little bit brighter. So like the blue, I think the blue and the brown, that's the bird, and the pink and the gold are all Roxy Floss Co. And then some of the others I switched out for different Gentle Arts. But I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And the main reason, part of the reason, not the main reason, but part of the reason I decided to brighten it up is that the button that I had to go with it, and I'm not going to be able to find now, even though it's in here. Here it is. Right, so it's a kind of a brighter pink, but you can see, whoops, you can see the leaves came off. That's not, those colors aren't coming very true. I'm having trouble with lighting now that I've switched to my laptop, finding the right lighting in different parts of my house. Anyway, it's kind of washed out. It's looking a little darker in some places and lighter than others. But anyway, so I kind of chose colors that match this better, but then in the meantime, the leaves fell off. And so I ordered another one, and the newer ones, the colors are more like the colors you see on here. So it was a much darker pink. And so what I've done is I bought some kind of like jewelry glue, and my plan is to try to glue those leaves back on. And if that doesn't work, I may just put this rose on without the leaves. We'll see. So this would be done already if I would get my rear end gear and glue those leaves back on. Word to the wise, be careful with your Just Another Button Company buttons. So I'm actually working on this whole series. I have the Valentine's one done, the St. Patrick's one done. I think, have I shown that one? I might not have shown that one. Just in case I haven't. Here's the St. Patrick's one. I have that one all finished. And I'm going to do all of these. I'm waiting to finish the whole series so I can finish them together. My plan is to make sort of envelope-shaped pillows where the pillow part I can pull out seasonally so that these can be stored flat. That's my plan. But I want to finish them all so I can finish them all exactly the same size. And I didn't say what this is. This is Luminous Fiber Arts. I think it's soft porcelain. And pretty sure it's 36 count. Could be 40, but I'm pretty sure it's 36. So that's what I'm trying to do all of them on that. So I have got 4th of July, like halfway done. I started it last year. And then I have the fall ones and the Christmas one to do. And hopefully I have more of that linen. I think I do. I think I bought more before she stopped dying. Misty of Luminous Fiber Arts actually doesn't dye anymore. She just doesn't have time, which I totally get. But I did love her fabric. Okay. Not that there aren't other great fabrics out there. I've been finding lots. I've been really enjoying stitching on Roxy, both the 36 and the 40 count. Yeah. So speaking of Roxy Floss Co., a new-ish designer. I think I've mentioned her in my previous FlossTubes because I have bought several of her patterns. This is Diana Bloom design, and she doesn't just do birds, but I love her birds. In fact, I love her birds so much I joined her Patreon. She initially had a free Patreon, and then she started a paid Patreon recently, where she does a bird of the month. That is, she does a drawing from suggestions that people make. And so the very first one, she didn't wait to do a drawing. The very first one was Carolina Wren. That was for May. And then June is the Purple Finch. And did she draw for July yet? If she drew for July, I don't remember what it is. She'll announce it when she actually makes the design. But and it's very inexpensive. I don't remember what it is, but especially if you're paying in US dollars. At least right now, the US dollar is still very strong against the Canadian dollar. I always feel like I'm stealing when I buy stuff in Canadian dollars and pay with US dollars. Anyway, so this is a Junko. The design is called First Frost, and I call this a partial finish, kind of like the other one, although not quite as partial as that one, because I have finished the bird. My goal was to finish the bird before putting this away, because this is obviously winter, right? For those of you that have been watching me for a while, you know I'm a very seasonal stitcher, and it was a close thing that I finished that Hello Spring again, because it's summer here in Texas. Even though the calendar doesn't say it's summer, it's summer. But I was like, okay, it's still technically spring. Even though you want to start stitching summer stuff, you need to finish this so that once you get the winter one done, because I'm gonna finish summer this summer, you can finish them all together so they're all the same size and decide, you know, are you going to finish them separately? Are you going to finish them in something that you can switch out? What are you going to do, right? Okay, so for First Frost, I'm using all the called for, except I think I changed the count of the linen. So I'm stitching this on 36 count panettone. And yes, I didn't cut down my linen. I could. I am quite capable of figuring out what size linen I need, okay? I love how they serge the edges. And I am very bad. I don't have a serger, so I don't serge my own edges. I'm perfectly capable of getting out my sewing machine and zigzagging the edges. But number one, I don't really like how it looks or feels, although it's actually better than letting it unravel. But I don't have a sewing room right now. It's a long story. Hopefully by the end of the summer, I'll have my sewing room back. But okay, so this color is not showing true at all for the linen. It's much browner in real life. It's coming across very gray. I don't know how it's looking on your, it's much warmer and browner in real life. Very beautiful color with just really gentle modeling. But anyway, so this is 36 count panettone, and I'm using the called for Roxy flosses. And I have to say, Caroline and Carrie and Diana are totally breaking my cross-stitching budget. I just ordered some more stuff so I could stitch the Carolina Wren and the Purple Finch. Anyway, here we go. But I am building a Roxy Floss collection of my own. I love this bird. Used to see this bird in the winter. I'm a Yankee, although I live in South Texas now. Go where the work is, right? Um, Pardon for the wrinkles and the folds. I don't iron my stuff before I show it. But I love how this turns out, how it looks. The bird looks so alive. So, but this is put away now until winter, when I will hopefully finish this winter the branches and these beautiful designs that look like snowflakes. So again, stitching 1 over 2. And here are the Roxy flosses. I am planning to stitch the other 2 birds in this series. There are 2 other birds. One is a freebie on Diana's Patreon. I believe it's still available if you join her free Patreon, I think. I didn't double check before I came on. Sorry. And these flosses, this is actually the whole floss collection for all 3 birds. I don't think all of these colors are in this one, if I remember correctly, but most of them are. So there's 2 other winter birds. One of them is available in her shop. The other one is a freebie on her Patreon. But beautiful, beautiful birds. She has some other, she doesn't just do birds. She has a new design out now that's lavender and bees, I think. But at least for the time being, I'm spending enough money stitching our birds. So I will probably get to the other things some other time because her designs are beautiful. Okay, so that's it for finishes and near finishes. Excuse me, I forgot to tell you, for those of you that are new, normally I mention what I'm drinking at the beginning of the video. Usually I'm drinking a cup of tea of some kind. It's warm and it's warmer. I'm upstairs. We have a 2-story house in South Texas on the coast, and it's hot enough and it's warmer up here because we don't keep our house super cold. I decided to have iced tea, and I made this the other day, put it in the fridge with, I guess yesterday, I made it yesterday or Friday, with one of my favorite teas, Stash's, what is it, Super Irish Breakfast. So I actually just made I finished that up, and I made another pot that I'm going to use for iced tea. So I just make it in my teapot and then pour it over ice when I'm ready to have some. And I made that one with my other favorite loose tea, which is Smith's Portland Breakfast. Okay, so the rest of these all, I believe, if I am correct, are all starts because I've been wanting to start all the things. Okay, first up, Love Thy Neighbor. This is another modern folk embroidery, and this, what I'm stitching is I'm using the same color linen, it might even be the same count, and flosses from Roxy Floss Co. that Caroline at Evertote is using. So it's kind of a loosey-goosey stitch along that she had mentioned on one of her floss tubes. I can't remember if it was on the Evertote channel or her own channel, Off the Grids. But I kind of like the idea of, you know, we need to have some love for our neighbor these days. So I liked the sentiment. So this is Roxy Floss Co. Cloud Break. Oh, and it's coming across a lot more bluer on the screen than it is in real life. It looks more gray, at least to my eyes. You know, everybody perceives color a little bit differently. But anyway, and so this is 40 count Cloud Break. I obviously haven't made much progress. I think I stitched on it one day so far, the day that I started it a couple months ago. Um, and the last time I got it out to decide if I was going to work on it or not, I decided it might be a little bit too close to the edges here. I meant to do 2 inches. I like to do 2 inches. Um, and I'm for the ones that I'm planning to frame, I'm planning to frame them myself. Um, and even, a good framer, apparently 2 inches is plenty, although a lot of people use 3 or 4. But I'm stingy with my linen, and I was hoping to use some of this linen for something else, like one of Diana Bloom designs. So what I'm thinking about doing, again, I didn't cut it down, is actually cutting it to the size that I need with at least my 2-inch margins. I'm getting my sewing machine out and serging the edges. Not serging, zigzagging. Maybe I'll do that. And then restarting, but starting with near the middle with this motif. Because I think that number one will be a little bit easier. Then I can count off of that. That's what I'm thinking anyway. And so this is the color palette that I'm using. Okay, here's my needle minder. This is from the countdown. I stitch in hand, but I love needle minders. And I use them to, like, I'll usually have a couple of needles, especially if I'm doing something with multiple colors, so that I can thread a couple of different, have a couple different color needles. So if I have any thread left over, I don't have to like pull it out. I don't always do that, but it's a preference. So was a I'm not in the thread club, but this was, I think it was the January or February thread club, the one of a kind thread club, and this is what Caroline's using, and hers looked so pretty that I decided to do that. But here's the thing, I'm color challenged. Well, I should say, maybe that's not the right word. I dither. If I'm changing like to a from a DMC to I'm doing my own conversion, that's not hard, right? I just pick the overdye that is closest to the DMC that seems to, play well. And occasionally I'll start stitching with one like, no, that doesn't really go. What else do I have that would work? Or it's time to go to a shop and pick something. Or order a few different ones from 1-2-3 Stitch and see which works best. But to do something like this, and this is why I have trouble with Jacob's cells, because he's like, do your own thing. And I don't always want the colors that he's chosen, because maybe like it doesn't go, or it doesn't match my aesthetic or something. And so I have I have bought most of his stitch alongs, but have I stitched any of them? No, because I can't decide on the colors. So my original plan was to just copy Caroline, but I need to get over this. I can't choose colors things when it's like the wide open spaces. And so I am going to start, I'm pretty sure I'm going to start over with that cartouche near the center with this color. That's what Caroline did. But then kind of from there, I think it also, if because kind of starting in the corner, it was hard for me to visualize where could I place these different colors. So I think if I start, where did I put? Now I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. I'm covering it up with my linen. I'm talking too long on this. But if I start here, I think it will be easier for me to decide colors if I go kind of from the center out. What do you think? Am I thinking about this too much? Should I just start stitching and not worry about it? I may have shown this before. I can't remember if I had this already during my last FlossTube, but anyway, that's my plan for this. So this will actually, even though it's a start, it will be a restart. And it's living, I saw this on Caroline's website, and it actually comes with a little pouch that's this color, but I'm using it for something else. but I thought the colors of this are perfect. And when I'm done with this, I may actually put a Diana Bloom's Winter Birds in this one because it would, you know, it's winter chickadees. It would help me remember winter birds. Um, okay, let's see if we can speed this up a little bit. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. Okay, next up in this beautiful bag from Layla P Creations, Corey Creates on FlossTube. It's actually had my 2025 Salentines. It actually has the 2024 Salentines, which I haven't worked on. I think I may have worked on it a little bit in February before the 2025 one came out. But sort of a goal in the back of my mind is to get that one finished before next year's Salentines come out. But in the meantime, I have, let's see, I need to show you what this looks like. Jacob recently published, or actually this wasn't a recent publish. This was a something in his shop, and he mentioned on a FlossTuber in his Patreon. I joined his Patreon too. About this one chart that hadn't gotten a lot of love, and he wanted to kind of bring it to people's attention again. And he thought it was a nice companion for this year's, or the 2024 holiday countdown piece, kind of matched up, you know, has similar feel to it, which I totally agree. Okay, trying to find my way in my Dropbox here so I can show the picture. And so I decided that I wanted to stitch it, let's see, where is it? It is called, is it the Tree of Friendship? Tree of Friendship, yeah. Okay, so come on, there we go. Let's see if I can maybe get it to turn. Oh no, I have this set so it won't turn. Let's see. This isn't going to work very well. Not going to work the way I thought. Okay, so here it is. He did it all in red, but to help it match, so there you can see. So you can see, especially this motif here, and just the tree itself is very reminiscent of the holiday countdown. Sort of, it's got a Scandinavian feel to it. And that was the keyboard for my iPad that I dropped. It's just going to stay there for now. So what I decided to do is that the holiday countdown, the linen that came in the kit was a very pale blue called Glacier. And a recent club color was a very pale pink called Powder Puff. Okay, I'm in the traditional club. Now this looks white, but trust me, it's a very pale pink. And so what I decided to do, again, to help me kind of get over this choose my own colors thing, so I can stitch some more of Jacob's, especially some of his beautiful stitch along patterns. I'm using leftovers, and I have quite a bit of leftovers from the holiday countdown, and choosing more I'm going to go with more the pinks and the blues and a little bit of the greens from that palette. This is my favorite gold from that palette, which is called Gilded. And I'm using the brown, like, so I'm making this sort of like the trunk of the tree. The branches, I think, and the leaves I'm going to do in green. I can't decide if I'm going to keep using this green or I might use one of the other greens too. And then remember, there's different flowers here. Originally, I was thinking of doing some of them sort of more blue or lavenderish. there's a sort of a lavender bluish or bluish lavenderish gray in the color palette called Slate. Um, but I'm still thinking about that. I might just do it all in the pinks and the reds that are in that. And then the girls in the bottom bring in the blues down there. Still thinking about it. And I may just, may change my mind as I stitch and see how it looks. But that's as far as I got. I want to finish the rest of the trunk and then start working on the side branches. So I'll pick this up in between other things. No big hurry. Again, I didn't cut down my linen. I am planning on using some of this, and I didn't bring it over here for when I was going to show some of my haul. I'm going to use some of this for the pattern that came with the chart that came with this linen, which is called Magic is in the Air, Magic is Everything. I can't remember. It's by Ellen of Maximum Cross Stitch. I'm going to wait till I get this done. And I need to collect the Roxy flosses because I want to do it in the Roxy floss. But eventually we'll use some of this linen for that and other things that will look good on pink. Okay. I started a bunch of stuff. No particular order here. This is gonna be, I thought this would be short. I talk. I know. Okay. This, I think I've shown this one before because I had a teeny tiny start like back in February. This is the, what is it? Excuse me. It's by Hands Across the Sea samplers, Foolery. It is the stitch along for the Our Sampler Years group. And I really need to post this there because I haven't posted anything. I'm not even sure I posted my start. Oops, gotta get this back where it belongs, which is with Love Thy Neighbor. Which I really want to get back to. Okay. Too many whips and not enough time. So here's where I am. Okay. So at the end of March, I was all caught up. And that's when I kind of, by that time, well, sometime in March, that's when things kind of started slowing down for me. I just was really tired. Didn't really stitch much, if at all, during the week. You should see my book, my calendar book, which for some reason didn't get over here. Especially in April, some in March. A little bit in beginning of May because we were actually traveling. Not much stitching or other crafts happened, but here we go. So this is on 40 count antique white. I figured with all that stitching, I didn't want to spend the money on or use any of the nice overdyes for my overdyed linen for my stash. So I decided to do antique white. And so my goal for June and July is to get caught back up. And I don't think it's that hard. Stitching the motifs is really fun. If you don't have much stitching time, you could just stitch a couple of small motifs or a couple larger ones. And I should say I'm using all the called for DMC, which I have somewhere. Here it is, or most of it. I think I still need to gather 1 or 2 colors if I remember correctly. But I definitely had everything I needed for the first 3 months. I need to double check that I have everything for the next 3 or 4. If I can get caught up by the end of June, that would be awesome. And I have some other things I need to work on. So to catch up, I need to stitch this corner. Here's April, then May, and then start the house is June. and then 7 is over here, this corner. Now what I might do is jump ahead and just finish the house and then jump over here for 8, do this 8 and 9. We'll see. We'll see how sometimes just having more mindless stitching like a house. I know some people get bogged down, but I kind of get in moods where, you know, if I'm really tired, it's just easy to, you know, stitch the same color or two in the same stripes over and over again. We'll see. We'll see how bored I get with that. Okay, another new start. So this was my birthday start. Did not publish anything on social media. And I decided to do this as my birthday start because it was, I guess the designer was having a big number, like 50 or something. I think, what's her name? I think it's 1897 Schoolhouse. I think her name is it Leanne? Is Leanne her name? It doesn't say. Anyway. So this is The Art of Living and Bancks. It's a reproduction sampler by 1897 Schoolhouse, Canadian designer. Like Diana Bloom and Erin Michaels. Do you see a little trend here? That's all I'm going to say. I am using the Roxy Flasco conversion. I don't have all of them on this ring. There's a couple of them. The names aren't in my Xstitch app, and I need to email them and ask them to add them. But this is most of the palette, and I am stitching it on the recommended dirty porcelain. So this is the Roxy Floss conversion that was done by Floss Boss Hannah. And so this is 40 count, Roxy Flasco, dirty porcelain, beautiful. You can't really see, very, very gentle modeling, but it's a nice neutral golden brown. And very interestingly, this color here that comes across very blue with a, you know, little tinge of purple in it, on the holiday countdown, I guess because of all the other colors around it, comes across as gray. It's very interesting how different colors look different with different other colors and on a different linen. I like it. So I think Leanne was having like her 50th birthday or something like that, and she was doing something special. I don't remember what. And I jumped on the bandwagon, probably too late. I think you were like supposed to post a picture of yourself with her with the pattern or the chart, or I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I had seen the video where Caroline and Hannah were talking. Hannah, Floss Boss Hannah from Evertote, talking, and Hannah showed the threads. I think it was Hannah that showed the threads on this one. So then inserted in one of Caroline's videos, and it just looked so pretty that I decided, I already had the linen, so I just bought the floss pack. Can't remember. Yeah, I bought the floss pack. So, although I probably had enough from the countdown for this one, but that's okay. I'm using it in other things. So, didn't get all that far, but it's not that big. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe for Sampler September, if I haven't made much progress on this one I could easily finish in Sampler September if I concentrated on it a bit. Here's the other two colors. Where did it go? So 2 colors or 3 colors? 2 colors. 2 more colors. I need to, this is to remind me to email the Xstitch app people. They're very good about adding floss colors. I also need to get them to add Diana Bloom designs to the designers. Okay. I was going to do a science corner at the end of this because I am Science Nister, but this is getting pretty long. So I'll get one of the full ones. Okay, next up, I bought this during Nashville. Normally I would wait for the PDF to be released, but this was I think this was exclusive during Nashville. Like you could, wasn't going to be available again, but it is now for a while. And I wanted to start it pretty much right away. So then the other thing was I decided I wanted now don't get me wrong, beautiful colors here. The called for, let's see, what did it say? The linen, somewhere here it said what the linen was. Arrowroot. It was stitched on 36 count arrowroot. But the piece of arrowroot I had for the stitch along for the Sal wasn't quite big enough. And on top of that, although this is beautiful, I wanted a brighter gold or more yellow gold than this brown gold, because that would please me more. And so I decided to order a few more skeins of gilded from the holiday countdown because I fell in love with this gold. It's a much brighter gold than what you see there, which is more of a brown gold. And decided I had a big enough piece of the London Fog, and I thought, you know, the gilded that I had would look good on the London Fog. So I have started this on the London Fog, and forgive my folds. No sewing room to set up my iron. Not that I probably would take the time. I'll be honest, not that I probably would take the time to iron it anyway. But you can see there, my goal for this weekend is to finish that B, but we'll see. Again, this is fun because, you know, just do motif. Even, I'm teaching summer school. I teach at the local community college, and I am teaching summer school. I enjoy teaching, and the summer salary is too good to pass up. But so that's what it looks like. 36 count London Fog. This was this is what's left of my fat quarter, and I'm using gilded one strand over 2, both by Roxy Flosco. I'm really happy with how this is turning out, and I am eager to finish it this summer and then frame it. I'm going to frame it myself, I believe. We'll see. Should see all the things I have that need framing. I should probably do a FlossTube on that. Let me know if that would be interesting. I can get out my bin of finishes from especially the sampler ones. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, so this is Helen Hull, 1863, Waste Not, Want Not. A small red sampler from Hands Across the Sea. And I started it with, let's see, which red am I using? Vicki Clayton's Hand Dyed Fibers Rarest of All, which one of her reds. If I remember correctly, it is a good match for Weeks Dye Works Liberty, which is the closest to DMC 321, which is what was recommended for this. And I decided this was a little too gray. Plus, I think all of the smaller Hands Across the Sea samplers I've done are on 36 count, and I kind of like the look of them. Um, and so, and, and there's a Diana Bloom design that this would be more than enough of, that I would like to do. And it's like I said, I wasn't kind of liking this. I wanted something a little warmer, like you see here. So I've decided, especially since I haven't gotten very far, that I'm going to restart this and save this. I need to pull these stitches out. Save this for Diana Bloom's Purple Finch, which I've ordered the threads for. And instead, oh, and I forgot to look up what this linen is. And instead do it on this linen, which is the same one that I did. Oh shoot, I forget the name of it. I did the last red sampler that I showed. I did it on this. Actually, it's on the other side. And it's the name's not correct. I always personalize them. That's my my spouse's great, I think three greats grandmother that was born in Quebec. Let's see if I can look it up real quick. And ones that are finished. So this was, what was the original? Louise Vilvorder. And I did this, yeah, I should have known that. This was Ballet Slippers by Fox and Rabbit. That's what this is. So that's what I'm going to do this one. There's plenty here. So I just need to cut a piece off of here and do this one. This was with a different red. I forget which red that one is. But, so sometime this month, I think I will restart that one. Okay, coming up on over 50 minutes here. Okay, then this one I started during the Lindy Stitches Spring Mingle. So I went to the Nash Stash, although yeah, I went to Nash Stash and actually met a few new to me stitchers, and one that I'm going to talk about in a minute because he started a FlossTube recently. Then I also went to Spring Mingle, even though I wasn't feeling very well that weekend. I was actually supposed to get together with some of the other Coastal Bend stitchers and participate together. We all bought tickets and we were going to participate together, but I just wasn't feeling. I woke up that Saturday morning with a really bad headache. So I did do, I think I did the speed dating once or twice. I felt better on Sunday, but I did like watch the video. I had signed up for Hands Across the Sea, her class. Have I stitched the project yet? Have I started it? This summer, because I also want to do the sort of beachy shore coastal one that she's done, like that, the little. If you didn't go to Spring Mingle, you don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. I will try to show it in my next FlossTube. I didn't bring it. I should have put it up here as a purchase, but this was a new purchase at the Spring Mingle. I'm not sure when this is going to be available, but this is Pigeon Coop. So this was exclusive for Spring Mingle. So it's Bluebird and Blossoms, or Merle Bleu on Cerisier. Excuse my high school French. But I love Max's birds. He always has something sort of somewhere that kind of looks like a Quaker design, some negative space. So I have a small start. I'm using the called for DMC on the called for Ada. Here's my thread bed that my friend Susan made for me. that I decided to use for this one. And here are the threads. And here is my start. Let's make sure I get it in the right orientation. Probably this way. Yes. Yes. So that's as far as I got. I worked on it that weekend, maybe one other time. I brought it with me on my vacation, but I ended up stitching on the honeybee sampler the whole time when I stitched. So I want to get back to this one now, especially that I'm done with Diana's bird, and try to make some progress on it before the threads for the other birds of hers that I want to do come in, which I think won't be till the end of the month because I ordered them with a stitch-along kit. This one. This is part of a stitch-along. The Blue Flower Bees in the Greenhouse. So this came out several years ago. Janine originally designed this for the 50th anniversary of the Houston Embroiderers Guild. And this is a stitch-along that the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild is doing because I suggested it. Because a lot of the folks in the guild, I'm actually vice president this year, we like to try unusual finishes, right? And so this seemed like an unusual finish. And actually, I had suggested this before Janine came out with her second one. And I did take her class, and I had planned to, during the Jingle Ball, and I had planned to stitch that one and finish it before we started this one, but it didn't happen. But I've made a bit of a start. This past week, I finally got started on it. So I'm using the called for DMC on the called for linen. And I actually have more here than I need. So I decided to start it along the bottom. So this is Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. It's a beautiful green color. It's coming more gray, but it's a beautiful green color. Is it a little bit better here? No. But I've started on the very first of these panels. So there's 6 of these panels. My goal is to try to do one a week, but I'm a little bit behind. So I really wanted to finish Hello Spring. So I need to work on this one probably today and make some more progress. If not today, then this will be my main stitch during the week after work. And then here's the DMC. Very, very summery, beautiful summer palette, pinks and greens and yellows and golds. So I'm looking forward to getting some more work on that. And then the last of the things that I started recently that I wanted to bring up and had, I can't show you the threads because they're not on a ring yet. I think I'm still collecting some of them. Is a design from Max Pigeon's Cross Stitch in the Forest. And make sure I get the right one. No, not that one. I've started a couple of these. Have not finished any of them yet. Here we are. Here we are. Okay, so I mentioned that I met some new stitchers and somebody who was new to cross stitch, newish to cross stitch. He goes by Thick Threads on Instagram and on YouTube. So he has a FlossTube that he started a couple months ago. His name's Eric. And he and some friends started this, what do they call it? The Fat Bear Sal. It's that Fat Bear Weekly Sal, I think he called it. I need to post my start on, and I haven't worked on it in several weeks. But the idea is there are, there's like this contest that they do every year. I don't know if it's the Forest Service or the National Park Service or some other group. maybe some kind of conservation group of the grizzlies up in Alaska, to see during the season when they're feeding on the salmon and gaining weight to hibernate. And technically, I think it's not really hibernation. During the winter, um, there's like which one becomes the fattest sort of thing. And so he started this Sal back in April. I think it was April 8th, because I started it around the day, but haven't really kept up. But I do, but I'm stitching this. Eric and others are stitching other things. It's like you choose a bear, something with a bear in it. And if I remember correctly, Eric is doing the artsy housewife. I think the bear's name is Geraldine. That's a beautiful one too. But I had this book. I love Max's designs. I thought this would be the perfect thing to have out all winter. That wasn't Christmassy. And so I decided I was going to stitch this. And I think Helen D had no. Did she stitch this one or one of the other bears? I can't remember. Anyway, so this is Winter Walk. I didn't say it says Winter Walk. And I'm stitching it on. What the heck am I stitching it on? I think this is either 28 or 32. I can't remember which. 28 or 32. Antique white linen, just plain, I think plain old Swigert. Or it might be cream. No, I think it's antique white. And it looks like it's 32 count. It might be 28. I know I have 28 antique white for it because I bought some for something. I think this is 28. Anyway, I'm using 2 strands over 2. And I think I need to gather a couple more colors. But I am, and I probably will put some stitches on this one this week. Try to get back in the swing of it. Like I said, here's my threads. And actually, I think I stole this one. No, not that one. Okay, may have stole some of these from another project. So that's what I've been working on, or at least started recently. I do have some recent purchases that I want to show, and then I will end this. So I do want to show the latest club linen. So if you haven't gotten your club linen yet, if you're in the traditional Roxy Flosco club, you might want to look away and close your ears. It's called Careless Khaki. It's just not. I might just need to delete a bunch of stuff from my iPad and start using that again, because I feel like the colors there were a lot better. It's just the light that I have available was brighter on my iPad than on my laptop here. But anyway, it's, to me, it reminds me a lot of summer khakis, Weigart summer khaki, or so, which I think they both might have a summer khaki. But it's got movement to it because it's, again, very subtle modeling, which is not coming across. But I'm going to be using this soon. So I'm getting 36 count. I think I have one more, and then it's time to renew or leave. And I'm definitely going to renew. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to stick with 36 count, which is, I kind of go back and forth between 36 and 40. I think I do stitch faster on 36 and see it a little bit better usually, although I do use different readers. I use 4x readers for 36 and 5x for 40. But I have some beachy things that I want to stitch this summer that I think would look perfect on here. And for some of them, I may actually do a Roxy Floss conversion based on the colors that I currently have. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, another thing I'm excited about, another recent purchase, is this was actually from Nashville. I forget who I ordered this from. It was either Lindy or Abby Topknot. Those are the two that I ordered from this year for Nashville. So this is another one from Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitching. Oh, that's where who the honeybee was from. Another Canadian designer. A Stitcher's Tools, and I am gonna stitch it on, this is 36. It's either, the call for is 36 country mocha. This might be 40. I know I have 36 and 40. I can't decide which, I can't remember which one I decided. I probably put in my extra tab. But, and I've gathered most, if not all, of the DMC, the called for DMC. So that's what I'm going to use. And I had meant to start this already, but I haven't. So I've got it all kitted up, ready to go, but it is a recent purchase. So sometime this summer, I will probably start that one. Then another one that I'm super excited about. This is from Erica Michaels, Welcome the Rose. This is, at least currently, exclusive to Tudor Rose Sampler Guild. The sampler, the guild had Linda of Erica Michaels give a in-person, face-to-face workshop in the middle of May. Unfortunately, I had planned to go, but if it had been like a week earlier, I could have gone. Well, not even. It would have been hard, but I might have made it. But that was in the middle of the time that we were going to be away visiting family. And family comes first. So this is a whole kit. I'm not going to take it out, but it is instructions for this sampler, original design by Linda, based on part of a sampler that she owns, I believe. It's based on a reproduction. It's based on an actual sampler. And then this strawberry and this pin keep. And there was a bonus also, a pin pillow, I think. But the kit, I think, can do this, but not the pin pillow, or can do this and the pin pillow, but not the pin keep. I can't remember. But no, it must do the needle book because or pin keep, whatever you want to call this, because there are supplies for the finishing and the supplies for the finishing. And then she worked with, I forget her whole name, but Michelle Ink Designs was also part of this and did some silver. And so there's a silver piece that can go on the pin pillow, but I'm actually going to use it as part of the topping for the strawberry. So I'm probably going to do the strawberry first, so I can learn how to finish strawberries. Her instructions are very detailed. She has very excellent instructions. And then our last meeting, she went over a lot of this stuff. So it's, I think the fabric is from Needle and Flax, and then a mixture of overdyed flosses. But it will be very fun. And then there's a Tudor Rose version. So this was in honor of our 25th anniversary of when the guild was founded. It was founded in 2020. I haven't been a member that long. I've only been a member since 2021. You are welcome to join us. We meet by Zoom. You can be anywhere. Although the guild originally started in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, a lot of members, even board members, are not from there now because we meet by Zoom for our regular meetings. So though that workshop was in person. Most of our workshops are by Zoom. So again, you could be anywhere. This was special because it was the 25th anniversary. Okay, I have one more thing to show. Oh, actually, I told a lie. No, it's really a lie. This is the design I was trying to tell you about that was the class that Hands-On Design did during the Spring Mingle. I think eventually this will come out. So this is called This Bee's Got Knees. So this is a little square, so we learned how to finish this square. She did not sell kits for this. I did kit it up mostly. I think I have most of the threads. The hard part was deciding what fabric, and I pulled this, which I think is summer khaki. It's looking lighter than it is in real life. It's 32 count, which is what called for was, but she said you could do it in any count. So anyway, so that chart was a new purchase, and then the last new purchase I wanted to show you is so this is another this is from one of the red boxes. The other one I showed you from Hands Across the Sea was also from the red box. So this is not a new purchase. This is not from the most recent red box, but for the one before. So my friend Susan and I share those. And so I bought another piece of Glacier, and this time 40 count, because I wanted to see what that looked like, from Roxy Flosco. And it looks very different. It's darker and grayer than what it looks like on 36 count. So I'm going to save this for something else, not this. I was still thinking about using it anyway, and I was trying some different colors that I have, both Roxy Floss and Vicky Clean Hand-Dyed Fibers. And I went ahead, because I wanted it for something else too, ordered some more 36 count Glacier and see if it comes out more paler like the one, the original one that I had on 36 count. But this is still a beautiful linen. And like I said, I will definitely use this. And we'll see. I might change my mind and still use this. But like I said earlier, I've been stitching most of these small ones on 36 count. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. And this is the hand-dyed fiber I was thinking about using. It is the closest to an overdye that's closest to the DMC that's recommended for this. I may actually, on 36 count, I may actually use one of the Roxy Flosco colors that's similar to what's recommended on the 36 count. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Okay, I think that's finally it. I did have some PDF purchases. I joined, I'm just not going to show them right now. I joined Erin Elizabeth's subscription. It's kind of like a Patreon. It's a monthly thing, but you join through her website, not through Patreon. She had a video about it this last week. And you get a chart a month. So the chart for June is already out. It's very pretty. So there's a main chart and a smaller chart, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. But when you join, you also get a discount when you purchase from her website. So actually I will show real quick. So the purchase I made, because and it's something that I've been meaning to do as soon as it was available as a PDF, was to purchase Hello Winter. Here I've got my Hello series, right? So Hello Winter. So that's what it looks like. So that's so I will be stitching this winter. And then, like I said, I'll finish all of those all together. Oh, something else. Just, you might see this in my next video. Well, depends. If my next video is Whip Parade, you may not see it because I may not have started it yet, but definitely this summer, I'm going to stitch this Sunburst by Satsuma Street. I haven't decided. I might do a Roxy Floss conversion if I have enough colors. And I have to decide if I'm going to do it on that. I think it's a Zweigart. It's called Riviera. or I have some beautiful blue fabric from Luminous Fiber Arts that I might do it on. We'll see. Anyway, this is long enough. I need to do this more often so it's not so long. Um, so anyway, check out Eric Fit Threads, especially if you like playing with color. He is fearless playing with color. Whoa. I really admire that because I am not. Um, and I really enjoy watching folks that don't necessarily, I like, okay, I do a lot of samplers. I love watching people that do samplers, but I also really enjoy watching people who like to stitch things that I wouldn't necessarily stitch myself, just to kind of see what's out there. And I just enjoy seeing other people really enjoying what they're doing. So, um, if you have some floss tubers that you really like to see, put them down in the subscription. If you aren't already a subscriber, or not subscriber, you know what I mean. Put them in the comments. Not that I have time to watch even more FlossTube, but hey, um, I kind of do a mix of people that do long ones and people that do short ones. Like I often watch Helen D in the morning when I'm eating my breakfast, right? You know, hers are usually 20 minutes, half an hour. Longer ones I'll save and watch at night. Um, Evertote lately off the grids, they've been long. So get out the popcorn. It's fun. So it's like you want to have a long stitching time. Um, yeah. So um, tell me who you like to watch, especially if you stitch things similar to what I stitch. If you are people you like to watch that don't necessarily like to stitch the things you do. Um, I, I, I like diversity. Anyway, have a good one. Enjoy your stitching or crafting, life. And as always, remember to take time to be kind to yourself and always be kind to your neighbor. Bye. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.